Welcome to today's. Hello, everyone. Welcome you to today's second part of the class. We'll be having our design thinking now, and I'm going to bring you on board, Mr. Gonzalo. Hold on a second. Mr. Gonzalo.
Hello.
Yeah, yeah. Hello, sir. We can all hear you now.
Mhm. Perfect. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Hope you've been having a great weeks of this program. I apologize to everybody for the problem last week. I had a electricity problem in my city and weren't able to join. But that class is going to be available for you, I believe, this weekend. So you'll be able to catch up, and I'll share with you my email and contact information in case you want to review something and there's anything I can help you with on that part. So without further ado, let's begin with this class, this third stage of design thinking. So what we've seen so far, it's we did the introduction that it was specifically oriented to the what is called entrepreneurial thinking, the way of thinking that we have in order to become entrepreneurs and to become innovators. This is not something that we study. It's not a major in a university. You don't major in entrepreneurship. Well, I think that some universities have it now, but anybody can be an entrepreneur. Anybody can be an innovator, regardless of what you study, if you went to college or not. It's a way of thinking, a way of seeing life, a way of seeing problems and try to fix them. That's what we talk about on the first class. On the second class, we talk about the first stage of design thinking, which is empathize. This it's a key stage because we talk about how the focus of all the process that we're going to be doing, of all your projects, of all your ideas, of all your creations, is people having problems, real people having problems, not what I think that people is experiencing, not the I believe, but the I know. And we'll talk about how to turn those I thinks related to the problem into I know. I know this person have this real problem because I talked to them, I interviewed them, I sat down with them and talked until I learned about the problem, about the real problem. And the stage two, which was last week's class, is define. I'm going to do a quick review about define so we are up to date, but the detail and how all the processes related to this second stage are going to be available for you this weekend on the class that I'm going to upload. Again, apologies for that problem. The define stage is where I use all the information that I gather from the interviews, from talking to people, all these tips that I got from the people that I interview, all the information about the problem that I didn't knew, all the data, all the experiences, the stories, all that. That is data. Data is considered today the most valuable asset we can have in order to construct our business. It's even more important than money in some cases. So data is very important, but data alone is not good enough. It's like you have, I don't know, iron in your yard. Iron is good. You can build a lot of stuff with iron, but you need to process it in order to be something that you can actually build, something that you can actually manufacture, something that you can use to create. With data is exactly the same. So in the define stage, what we do is we take the information we gather from the interviews, from talking to people, from learning about the problem, and we what is the word in English? We narrow down this huge idea of the problem into one line of the problem. So we use in our past class the example of ending world hunger. Ending world hunger is a huge problem. It has a lot of pieces, a lot of parts, a lot of stages, and we cannot solve them all. We are to solve all, we need infinite time and infinite resources, and we have very little time and very little resources. So we pick just one part of that problem. So I can't solve world hunger, but what I can do is I'm going to pick this little part of the problem that is connecting people who has excess resources in food to people who need that food in my town. I'm not solving world hunger, but I'm starting to solve a little bit of hunger in my town. And that's how you go. So you narrow down the information and you pick one line of the problem. So you have to be able, after stage 2, and again, the methodology of how to do that is going to be available for you later this weekend. You're going to be able to define the problem that you want to solve in one line in a concrete manner. So world hunger, again, it's a great problem to solve. It's too big, it's too generic. So it doesn't give me a lot of clues of what I want to solve. But if I say I'm going to connect people who has, no, that's a solution. Sorry. The problem would be I'm going to solve hunger in my town. Just pick one part of the problem. And after we get to that, after we define what our problem is going to be, I'm going to move to stage 3, which is the stage that we will be this weekend. But before that, remember something that we've been discussing since day 1, that this is people's problems. In stage 1, we get to know the people, we get to talk to the people, we get to interview the people, and we got to know them on a deeper level, on a personal level. So now it's not so random people has a random problem out very far away. It's this person that I know the name and the last name, that I know their faces, that I know their voices. They have the problem. So now it's a problem important to me because I know it's different when you want to help a friend with a problem. It's a problem that it's closer to you, and when you want to solve a problem for stranger. So we know the people, and after the stage 2, we know the problem. We know the piece of the problem that we're going to solve, and now we need to start creating. And this is the fun part of this cycle of design thinking, because now is the time that we get to go crazy. We get to the ideate stage. We need to start crafting in our heads the solution. Ideate is a process used to narrow down the condensed idea of how we're going to solve the problem. So stage 1, we interview a lot of people, we get a lot of data related to the problem. Stage 2, all that data, we turn it into one line. This is the one problem we're going to solve. Now we get to craft a solution to that problem we define in stage 2. So here is where you get to expand your minds and get as creative and crazy as possible. It is expected and it's needed that you get as crazy as possible with the ideas. Because, well, remember that we need to solve people's problems, and we need to be innovative solving people's problems. You are here because you want to learn to do something new, to create something new. You're learning about technology, you're learning about new tendencies, you're learning about the new stuff. You have to create new stuff for all problems. And the focus of everything, again, and I'm going to be repeating this over all the process, so you never forget it, is the people. The people we're solving the problem for. So now we need to start creating new ideas. we need to get creative. We need to just think outside the box. Have you ever done something like that? Like you start wondering and daydreaming and say, "Oh, I should do this. I should start writing a book. I should film a movie." I like daydreaming and thinking of crazy things, having fantasies about what you want to do, how you want to solve things, or alternatives. Like, I would love to be in a parallel universe where this happens. Uh, have you ever gone through those thoughts, through those experiences? I hope you do, because you're going to have to this for this next week. But it's easy to say, okay, let's have a new idea. Let's get the creative juices flowing, but it's not that easy to create an actually new, innovative, creative idea, because we are molded. We are the mix of how someone wrote once that we humans are just um, we are the sum of all the stories and all the experiences that we've had in our lives. So, and we learn from those experiences, we learn from those stories, but those are things that already happened, things that are already been created. And whenever we think about it, and if you try to do it, for example, do an exercise this weekend and try to write a story. Try to write a story about whatever topic you love, you feel passionate about this movie, about gaming, about going I don't know, doing sports, about nature. Try to write a story, and you're going to realize while you write the story that, oh, I wrote like this situation, this scenario, and this scenario is very similar to something that I read in this book, or that I saw in this movie, or some old story that my grandparents told me when I was a kid. It's We begin creating for what we know, and we know what we already experienced, and that has already been created. So it's not easy to have these creative new ideas that we're thinking about. How do we do it? And to that, we have a methodology called brainstorming. Perhaps you have heard of this. Brainstorming is a group process on which new ideas are created to solve specific problems. It's a method that it's not only a process that you do on a paper, but it requires that you create the right environment, that you are in the right mindset to be as creative as possible. So the first part of this is it's a group process. I know that a lot of you, especially in these COVID times, are working alone. And you can do this alone? Yes, you can. Ideally, you're going to do this at least with one other person, because it's easier to get new ideas when you get inspiration for new thoughts of new people. So, ideally, if you can work with someone, you can add a friend to this process, you can add a classmate. It's going to be great. If not, by any reason, you cannot add something to your team in this moment, not a problem. You can do it all by yourself. What you're going to need for this brainstorming process is nothing more than a piece of paper. And if you have post-its like the ones you see in the picture, you can use them. If you don't, it's not a problem. You just write ideas on a piece of paper. You pick a big piece of paper and you organize the process like this. We're going to solve this problem. We're going to try to solve hunger in my town. That is the problem that we need to solve. So I'm going to give myself 5 minutes to write as many ideas as possible in the piece of paper oriented to solve the problem of hunger in my town. So all the ideas, it doesn't matter how crazy, it doesn't matter how weird, it doesn't matter how fantasy-like they are. Every idea counts for this process. The goal of this is to get as many ideas as possible, not the coolest ideas, not the most creative ideas, no, as many ideas as possible. This is one of the few situations in life where quantity beats quality. We need a lot of ideas. And the rules for this is, first, we need creative confidence. We need to be sure that me and whoever else joins the process feel confident about sharing their ideas, feel that they're safe sharing their ideas, that this is the right space for them to be as creative as possible without any repercussions, without any problems. This is a creative zone, and every idea, every thought is welcome, of course, as long as it's done with respect. This is not an open invitation to be rude to people and to say bad things. You can speak whatever idea you have in your mind as long as it's done with respect. And as I said, quantity before quality. What we need is lots and lots of ideas, not the best ideas, not good ideas, just lots of ideas. And finally, and this is very important, no criticism. There are no bad ideas in this process. What we need is for everybody to feel comfortable enough to share what's really inside them, because there is when you're going to find the great, disruptive, innovative, creative ideas. I'm sure a lot of you have this in you, probably everybody. You have been in situations where you've been talking with friends or perhaps talking with your parents, with relatives, and they say, oh, what are we going to do about this? How are we going to solve this? Or what do you think about this problem that we're experiencing in the country, the city? And you have something to say. There's some idea in your head, but you don't want to say it because you don't want to feel judged. You don't want everybody to turn around and look at you like, what did you say that's weird, that's silly, you shouldn't say that. Nobody wants to feel judged for their ideas. Your ideas are like your babies. It's your creation. You don't want anybody to criticize them, so you don't say them. And perhaps you have the greatest idea, but you don't say them because you don't want to feel judged. Laomi is asking, the things you write down, can you make them realistic? In this stage, write whatever idea down. It doesn't matter how realistic or fantasy-like they are. Whatever idea. If you think that you're going to solve world hunger by growing crops in the moon, okay, write down that idea. That is a perfectly good idea for this stage of the process. So remember, unfilter your heads. This is a no judgment zone, a no criticism area. So you will be able to show and share all those ideas, even the crazy ones, and nobody's going to say anything about it. Nobody's going to say this is a bad idea. There are no bad ideas in this process, just ideas that you prioritize, ideas that you leave for later. Planting crops in the moon, perhaps it's a great idea, but it's not especially doable right now, so we leave it for later, perhaps in 10 years. Technology moves incredibly fast, as you know, and right now we're having tourists flying to the space. We're not that far away from having colonies in other planets. So there's actually a mission to create a Martian settlement for humans, and that's supposed to be up and running by 2025. So that your creativity and your your brain are the limit. So just throw them out there. Don't fear judgment. And it's important that you don't judge others that are helping you in the process for their ideas. Don't do any faces. Don't make any sounds when you hear an idea that you might think is ridiculous, because nothing is ridiculous, nothing is silly in this stage. Why do we do this? And why do we accept all kind of ideas? Because true innovation and creativity comes from this hidden corners inside ourselves. Our first instinct is to just share what's on our top of our heads, and what it's in the top of our heads is what we're used to, what is safe, what is proven, what we already use, what we already know. So my solution to world hunger is going to be, let's buy food, let's open a food bank, and let's start sharing food. That's okay. It's good solution, but it's not innovative. It's not what we're doing here. It's already been done. It's been done in a lot of countries. So that's not going to help me right now. That's not the idea that I need right now. So I need to dig deeper, and each layer deeper inside me of my ideas, of my thoughts, becomes more personal because they're more private, more close to me ideas. Perhaps this is an idea that I've been having for years and that I've always wanted to find the opportunity to do, but I'm very scared that if I share this idea with someone is going to tell me, sorry, that is a bad idea. You shouldn't do that. And I'm going to feel bad. This is an idea that I thought it was good. People tell me that it's bad, so perhaps I'm not good for this. I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't even try. So we need to open the space for us to be completely honest with what's inside us, our ideas, our thoughts, our passions, and be able to put them on paper without fear of judgment. I'm going to read a few comments here. I have to think of an innovative idea for a competition, and it's hard to think of something that can benefit humans. It's just hard. I think that a lot of us have that problem, Olosa, when we begin, because we want to help people, but we also think about business. This needs to be able to make money in order to grow, so I can work in this and solve the problems that I want to solve. But how do I benefit people? The best way to know how you can benefit someone is talking to them. That's why the first stage of this process is empathize. I have to be able to feel, to connect, to generate empathy with the person that is having the problem, so I understand them. I understand what their problem is. I understand what they need, what they're looking for, what they are expecting. And then I can create something that fulfills their needs and hopes. That's why we have that first stage. And the first part of this is talk to people. So you don't lose the focus. And that's why we repeat in each class, the focus is people. When you're in doubt about how to benefit people, talk to them. And when we think about the benefits that humans have, like you're commenting here, Odosa, we usually think big. We want to give huge, big things to people that can change their life radically. Sometimes it's going to be like that. Sometimes it's going to be a little help. It's going to be a little change. Sometimes I'm not going to be able to solve the problem of, I don't know, let's say public transportation. I'm not going to be able to give free public transportation for everybody, which would be a great solution for a problem that every country has right now. But perhaps I can lower the cost $1 per person of public transportation. Perhaps I can, instead of taking an hour to get to where you live to where you work, I'm going to fix public transportation so it takes 45 minutes, which means 50 more minutes of sleep, of spending with your family, of resting, of doing something you love. Not all the time the benefits that we're going to offer to people are going to be radical. Sometimes it's small, but small benefits are still benefits. It's still making people's lives better, even if it's by 15 minutes, even if it's by $1, it still helps. A virtual farm where farmers can use their phones to manage their farms without always entering bushes and suffering. Like, I know people problem by going through the SDGs pages. I can see poverty, hunger, and how can I help? Well, it's your mind is going on an interesting path, Otosa, here. The virtual farm idea is great, and actually the technology to do that, it's already here. You can buy very cheap sensors that you put on the ground, and it measures how much water the plants are getting, the quality of the soil, if the plant is getting the minerals that it needs, what kind of like extra help it needs with minerals, with the food that the plant consumes to grow. That can be done for sure, and that you can monitor everything from a cell phone. That can be done, and of course, it perhaps is not going to revolutionize the whole cropping industry, but you're going to solve a lot of problems for a lot of farmers right now, and that is great. Okay. Remember, and what we talk about, no bad ideas in this part. They're not ideas not good enough, not innovative enough, not all ideas in the stage are good. Remember. So after we do this process, we're going to end up with a piece of paper filled with ideas, many ideas. I recommend, if you're going to be alone doing this, give yourself 5 minutes with a timer, so you feel the pressure and you start throwing all those ideas. 5 minutes, and try to get at least 30 ideas. At least 30 ideas. And once you have all these ideas, you organize the ideas in these 4 quadrants. We have, on the top right, ideas that are doable and innovative. On the top left, not doable but innovative. On bottom right, doable but not innovative, and bottom left, not doable and not innovative. So we pick each idea that we wrote on the paper and we classify it in one of these 4 squares. So let's say I'll put an example here. Doable and innovative. An electric car that uses the sun as a power source. It's doable because we have solar technology right now, and we have electric cars, so the technology is here to construct a car that runs with the sun. It's doable and it's innovative. If we move to the left, the not doable but innovative, let's say an electric car that uses cold fusion as a power source. Cold fusion is a theoretical process of using, like, splitting an atom, like what happens with a nuclear bomb, and I harness that energy into electricity. It's been talked about a lot. It's one of the solutions that we have for clean energy, but nobody has been able to do it yet. So it's innovative, would be great if we can make it happen, but it's not doable just yet. On the bottom right, we have doable but not innovative. An electric car that uses electricity from the city as a power source. I plug the car to the electricity, the house electricity, it charges, and I can use the car. That's doable. It's already been done. It's not innovative because it's already working out there. You probably have seen electric charging stations in some pictures, perhaps in your town. And then on the bottom left, we have not doable and not innovative. For example, a personal spaceship that is powered by oil. It's not doable because we don't have the technology yet to do like a car spaceship that can take me to the moon. And powered by oil, that's not innovative. That's what we've been using now, and it's part of the problem. Okay, let me read some of the comments here. Don't say that it will be stupid. They're not stupid. They're not stupid ideas in this process. If you think that you can have stupid ideas, you're going to censor yourself of having those ideas. Imagine how stupid the idea of Uber might have sounded the first time that someone said it. Hey, we're going to send a stranger, someone that you don't know, in a car that you don't know, that you've never seen, to pick you up, and you're going to pay them by phone. That sounds very dangerous, very risky. That goes against everything everybody told me, all the grown-ups told me. Never talk to strangers. Never get inside the car of a stranger. No, that's safety 101 when you go out in the street. And someone said the very stupid idea of, what if we send strange drivers in strange cars to pick random people up? And that stupid idea is now $1 billion idea. There are no stupid ideas, guys. Random ideas, yes. Weird, crazy ideas, yes. Stupid ideas, no. Oh, Lagumi talks about something very important. You cannot force creativity. You can create the right mindset, the right environment for creativity. You can set the right mood to be creative, but creativity is a magical process that happens in our brains that we cannot control. Sometimes you're going to have the best idea ever when you're taking a shower, when you're doing the dishes, when you're walking outside on the street. Perhaps it's when you're sitting down in your computer writing down ideas. Perhaps it's when you're playing with your little brother. There's no rules for this. You know how to get creative better than we do in terms of what you need. This process is designed to help you to foster an environment when you're going to feel confident and safe sharing these ideas and putting a method to this process that is very random and crazy. Getting creative ideas is very random. But that doesn't mean that this is the only way of having those ideas. And it's just a way to channel your thoughts so you learn how to do this. So you can do the brainstorming process, organize the ideas after the brainstorming in these 4 quadrants, and one day you're going to be, having a burger, and an idea is going to hit you and you say, oh, this is the idea that I was looking for. This is checks all the boxes. So, okay, scratch what we saw in the brainstorming. This is the idea that we're going to be working in. And that's okay. This is a process to help guide the process, but it's not the only way to get a creative idea. Right now, you're sharing your ideas on the chat. You're talking them between yourselves. Perhaps this is the perfect moment when you're going to get the creative idea. Perhaps you're going to reach something that someone else wrote. Say, this doesn't make sense for that problem, but it makes sense for my problem. So I can get the idea from there. Save wallet. This Bluetooth-enabled wallet will alert you if you forget your wallet and if someone tries to steal it. Please, if you make that happen, Jane, send me the link because I lose my wallet and my keys constantly. And if someone can, luckily I don't lose my phone that often. But if you make that happen, please let me know. See, crazy ideas that you think are random and you might even think that they're stupid, they can be the $1 million idea. They can be the idea that solves the problems of a lot of people. Just use those ideas. So remember, don't even think of the possibility of having a stupid idea, because that if you have a stupid idea means that you did something stupid, and you're going to filter what is inside you. You're going to censor your ideas, and that's not to be done here. Okay? So a passcode USB that can save you from USB drives, tips. Good. So all the ideas that you're having now, Jane, that I see that you're having a couple of ideas, but remember, these random ideas that you're thinking of have to be focused on the problem you're trying to solve. On the in the second class, which was the first stage of design thinking, the empathize stage, we talk to people to learn about the problem that we want to solve. Remember, a successful project begins trying to solve a problem, not trying to execute my cool idea. Because many people like you have been sitting down with their amazing ideas in their heads that are going to be billion-dollar ideas, and then they realize that nobody wants them. Nobody wants to buy them. Nobody uses them, or the solution already exists. So you can't begin your project from an idea in your head, from something that you want to do. You need to begin your project solving a real problem of real people that you've talked to. Once you have that real problem, you start getting creative. How can I mix my passions, what I like to do, what I like to talk about, what I like to read about, what I like to learn about? How can I mix this with the problem that people have? If I get that match of real people's problems and my passions, I'm going to be in the best possible scenario to create a great solution. And that great solution is going to be your business. So you start with the problem that people have. Always start with the problem. Then you condense that problem, that big problem, into one part of the problem I'm going to solve. Then one solution to that problem. And once I have the solution, okay, for example, here, the Bluetooth wallet, let's use that example. The problem is people keep losing their keys, their wallet, their all the stuff that they need to carry out right now, their vaccine pass, all the things that you need to carry out when you go to the street. You keep losing them. That's a real problem. I talked to a lot of people. They have this problem. It hurts them a lot. They desperately need a solution. So I'm going to, there are a lot of solutions to that problem. I'm going to do cognitive training so people don't forget things. I'm going to help them psychologically. There's a lot of things that I can do to solve that problem. You chose one part of the problem, which is the alarms to let you know when you forget something. So I'm going to solve that problem with one solution, which is this Bluetooth wallet. And now I have the solution. I'm going to do a Bluetooth wallet, but how do I do it? And that is the process that you start doing to the next stages, and we're going to be reviewing next week's. So remember, problem, stage one. For empathize, stage one, where we learn about the problem from the people, from real people. We go to stage two, define the problem in one line. People lose their keys and their wallet when they're going out. Okay. And then I go through the brainstorming process. And at the end of the process, I organize the ideas in these 4 squares that you can see in the screen. And this doesn't mean, and you choose the doables and innovatives. You get that square, and those are the ideas that you're going to be using for the next stages. Does this mean that the rest of the ideas are stupid and dumb and you should forget them? No, because the idea that doesn't work today might be very useful tomorrow. Technology changes very quickly. Things, markets, problems change very quickly. So don't discard the other ideas, just save them on your drawer and leave them there for when you need them in the future. So what do I do after this stage? I have the doable and innovative ideas. Perhaps I have 5 ideas there. So now we take all the innovative and doable ideas and we organize them from cheaper to begin with to most expensive to begin with. So let's talk about the wallet, the Bluetooth wallet. I can, for example, let's say that I have three ideas for this. One is I'm going to construct a robot wallet that speaks to me when I forget something, when I leave it behind, and send smoke signals or something like let's just keep that, the robot wallet. I'm going to have the Bluetooth wallet that connects with my phone and let me know when I leave it behind. Or I'm going to have like a keychain attached to the wallet and to my, to my phone case. So whenever I pick up my phone, my wallet is never left behind. Those are the 3 ideas that I crafted for this problem, and I organize them on how cheap it is to make them, from cheapest to most expensive. The cheapest one is the keychain that connects my wallet to my phone case. Then we have the Bluetooth connection, and then we have the robotic wallet. And we start working with the cheapest idea. Why? Because that is the most probable solution that I can construct right now. So I can try it out with people right now, and it can start helping people right now. And we're going to try with that one. So what I want you to do is, after the brainstorming process, after organizing all these ideas, all these thoughts into these 4 quadrants that I'm going to repeat here, the doable and innovative, not doable but innovative, doable but not innovative, and not doable and not innovative, we're going to pick the doable and innovative, organize them from cheapest solution to most expensive solution, and then pick the cheapest. And with that, we're going to be running towards the next stage. So now we know the problem. After stage 1, empathize, we pick a part of the problem, that is stage 2, and now we have the idea to solve the problem. We have the solution in our heads to solve the problem. So in 3 weeks, we went to, I think that they might want this to solve their problem, to, I know that this solution is going to help real people with real problems. And we will move to stage 4 next week, which is prototyping. Okay, so we have questions here. What if the Bluetooth wallet control? Let's leave that question for a little later, Jane. So here, yes, you have an idea, but how do you start? Well, that is exactly what we're solving here, what we're doing here. How do we start? We start with, again, people and problem, picking one part of the problem, finding one solution to that one problem, which is what we did today. And next class, we start prototyping. We start actually constructing a solution. And the final stage is we show that solution to the people that have the problem, hopefully the same people that I interviewed at the beginning. And that is going to give me an idea of, do they like it? Does it work? Do they understand it? And remember what we talked in the first class, this is a cycle. I learn from that experience, then go back to Ideate. So this solution, this Bluetooth wallet, I show it to people, and they like it, but not everybody has Bluetooth on their phones. So, okay, back to Ideate. How can I create this solution without using Bluetooth? What technology does everybody have? And we go keeping the cycle going until I show the prototype to people and people say, oh, this is exactly what I've been looking for. This is perfect. This is a solution that I needed. And then you go to market. You start selling. I think the hardest part is what you mentioned, having an idea and process that idea to start actually doing something with that idea. We all have a lot of ideas. We all have been sitting down in an afternoon and saying, oh, I should write a book about this. I know that I can solve this. I can do an app for this. We all have a lot of ideas in our heads, and we probably have the skills to make those ideas work. But how you pass it from here to something tangible that you can work in, it's tricky. That's why the Coderina team decided to teach you design thinking, because this is a method of finding ideas and put them into paper and creating something tangible with this. So to answer your question, just follow this process. Talk to people, learn about the problem, find a piece of the problem that you feel comfortable solving, find a solution to that problem, create the solution that you are talking about, and show it to the people and see what the people say. And then you move in the cycle until you're ready to sell. This cycle can repeat a lot of times. Sometimes you are very close to the final solution, and with 2 or 3 iterations, you're ready to go to market, and that's it. So you just need to have patience and need to be open to learn. What if your idea is that somebody else owns already? That means that this is the thing. With design thinking, we're trying to think of innovative ideas. Innovative means that it's not there right now. It's something that it's completely new, or it's a new way of doing something, or it's a new ingredient for doing something. So part of creating something innovative is that it hasn't been done in that way ever. So if someone already owns that idea, it means that you're not being innovative enough, and you have to push yourself a little bit further to change it. This doesn't mean that if you have an idea and you see that someone else have that exact same idea, you have to scratch everything and start from zero. You perhaps can add a layer, a functionality, a benefit, and that is innovative. Innovative is not always something absolutely new. For example, Uber was very innovative because we went from stopping cabs on the street, hailing cabs, and using taxis, to calling cars to pick us up from our front door from our phones. Very innovative, very disruptive, changed everything. But that doesn't mean that every innovative idea has to be that disruptive, that huge change. You can take the same idea from Uber and say, okay, I'm going to do an Uber for pets. So I'm going to have the same system of Uber, but I'm going to apply it to pets. So you can send your pet to the hairdresser, then to training school, then to the yard to play with the friends, and back home, for example. Someone already did the Uber for food, and now you have Uber Eats, where they deliver food to your door. So what else can we apply the Uber system to, the Facebook system to, the Airbnb system to? That is being innovative. You take an idea that is already there, a technology that is already there, and we twist it around and we use it from a different market. We use it in a different way. So when we try to think about innovative ideas, we always try to think of this huge, I want to create the new Facebook. I want to change the world with this idea. Perhaps it happens, perhaps I can do it, but if the only ideas that I want that I'm willing to work in are these huge reality changing ideas, it's going to be very tough to begin, because those ideas comes one in a lifetime, perhaps not for all people. Having a small idea of, okay, I'm going to use Uber for crops, so now I can deliver what the people that take care of the crops, what they need, I deliver it to their doors, and then they take the crops and put them on this Uber, and they go to the market to be sold. So that is innovative. Nobody has done it, so I'm going to do it. So again, the key part of the stage is go crazy, think outside the box, walk around your house and begin thinking, okay, I see, I don't know, a Bluetooth device. What can I do with a Bluetooth device? What can I connect? What can I solve? Okay, and connect that with the problem that you want to solve. I want to, it's like recycling in a way, exactly. A way of being innovative is recycling ideas, technologies, concepts, because it's really hard to have an actual, absolute, pure new thought, because we think based on what we know, what we have learned, what we have experienced, what we have read about. So, like the example that I was telling you about writing a story. If I start writing a story, it's probably going to sound very much like Harry Potter or The Lord of the Rings, because I love those books and I read them so much that I have them in my head, like recorded. So I'm going to use a line and say, this sounds too much like Harry Potter. So, okay, I'm going to switch this a little bit. We use what we have learned in our lives to create. So, yeah, you recycle ideas, you recycle technologies. You can use something that is working on this market, like, okay, it's working on the transportation business, so I'm going to use it in the agricultural business. It works in China, so perhaps it can work in Puerto Rico too. So you just find ideas, technologies, you add a bit of your spice, of your passion, of your thoughts, and you make it something new. Okay, so it's not always this huge, amazing, disruptive idea. Sometimes it's a little change. Like someone said, okay, we are used to pay with credit cards when we go to a coffee shop or the supermarket. Now I'm going to pay the same. It's going to be the same amount, but instead of the credit card, I'm going to use my phone. I swap my phone on the registry machine, and it discounts the money from my account. It's innovative. I'm paying exactly how I used to pay, but now I'm using my phone instead of the credit card. I added something new to the process. Okay. Pizza deliveries have been working for decades, but now I can order the pizza from my phone and paying electronically, from my bank account without having to use cash. That's innovative. That was innovative in its time. Okay, so for the problem that you have, that you found, that you want to solve, see, it's a very good inspiration to see what other people are doing to solve them. So I want to solve world hunger. Okay, who's doing what about world hunger? And from those ideas, I say, oh, that idea is good, but if I add this, it would be better. If I do it like this, if I work it like this, it's better. So go crazy, guys. This is the moment. This is the moment to put your brain to work as fast and as crazy and as weirdly as possible and get those ideas. Because from next class, we're going to start creating those ideas into tangible things, tangible solutions that we're going to be showing to the people that have the problem. We are in the third stage of 5 for you to learn how to turn ideas into products and services that help people. It's a, it's a very cool process. You're going to love the results. So keep hanging in there. And please, if you have any questions, remember you can write them down on the chat. And as I told you, the second class is going to be available this weekend. Please review it during the week. I'm going to leave my email with the team here at Coderina. So whatever question you have about the second class, that again, I apologize for not being able to give it last Saturday. Whatever questions you have, whatever idea you want to bounce, whatever you want to share about that class, please feel free to write me, and I'll be happy to help you with that. So if you don't have any questions, I believe that you have a few more classes today. Hopefully you have enjoyed this class, and I'm going to be seeing all of you next Saturday for stage 4, prototyping. And for that class, please bring paper and whatever items you have in your house that you can use to build something, like cardboard, glue, whatever thing, like the things that you would use in school to build stuff. Use that, and we can create our first prototypes. Okay? Have a great weekend, and see you next Saturday.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Gonzalo. We're really happy to have you on board, and I hope by next week all students are going to bring all material required for them to participate in the program. Thank you, and bye.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Yeah, bye. Everyone. So see you in the next class, Python. Looking forward to see you guys in the next class. Bye.